Hello, YouTube.com. I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net. And this is a Ghost. How's it going, Ghost? Sun Ghost?
What's up, bots? How you doing? How's all the bots out there?
Oh, man. Yeah, so, today we are going to go over a couple of news things that have broken in the last 24 hours, and we'll do a little bit of recap. And from the spoiler articles that I've done this week, I was going to maybe do a new one today, but I was like, I think I'm going too fast. I think I need to put the brakes on a little bit. And we should maybe, re-examine some of the things that we've done before. And I've had a lot of messages recently about how to support the show. And obviously, Patreon or becoming a channel member on YouTube are two of the best ways. But when it comes to YouTube, we can make exclusive chats. That's rad. When it comes to Patreon, I can't give those people those powers. So it's kind of like, but on Patreon, I can give you access to an audio only feed of the show if you prefer to hear the show as a podcast. Mm-hmm. So it's like there's kind of it's a catch-22. There's no one right answer. But if you become a channel member, I can, and you really want the audio, I could help you. Yeah.
I have a suggestion. On the Patreon, they'll get priority Q&A, so you can drop a Q&A thread. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
They can you know what I mean? We can read their questions. That way they'd get the same kind of feedback you get in a chat. It'll be a little bit of a delay, but
sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, was that you could send me a message or we could make a thread, whichever. And then I could just reference, the thread and do it that way. We could make a Discord, and you could ask questions live in Discord, and then we could read those from the Discord. That's another way of doing it.
I will not be on the Discord.
Yeah, you don't have to be.
So if you want a version of this show free of me, support the Discord, because I will never be on there.
Yeah,
guaranteed. Yeah. I also want to say on YouTube, if you don't have any money, you're times are tight, we get that. What I would also suggest, though, it's totally free to do, is just let the video play to the end. Because the way the algorithm works is if you play it to the end, then it's like, oh, the engagement's high, we'll share this, we'll recommend this to other new people. And that's how we can expand the base beyond just Mark Hamilton and Revenge Guy and Revenge Guy and
not that
person who calls me a douche. You know who you are.
I think that's all of them. I think that's every single one of them, actually. No, and then over the last couple of days, I've had people who are having problems with things and how to do it, how to become a channel member, and basically right here, you sort of the Making Star Wars page. You might have to switch over to the desktop version or use a desktop computer, or whichever works for you. And then right here, I circled it. You just hit that little join button right there, and that's how you do it. And you can do it from any country. So yesterday, somebody was like, "Oh, I think I'm in the UK. It's a problem." It's not. Google will take your money, but for some reason, Google doesn't want to take your money through the app. I don't know if there's app store reasons for that or something, but it's really weird. And then over here on the MakingStarWars.net, if you just go to the web, if you would rather do it on Patreon, go over to MakingStarWars.net, and down here on the bottom here, you click that little icon on the very bottom of the page, and I'll take you to the Patreon. It was actually going to the wrong Patreon yesterday.
Going to Star Wars Santa's Patreon. You get all the fucking loot.
I would be much okay with it going to a friend's Patreon instead of somebody who just decided to babysit the name when I changed it from the old one.
Yeah, I've been waiting for someone to show up in the chat called Star Wars Putin. You know what I mean? It's just Star Wars Putin. He's Putin, but he really likes Star Wars, and he's a dick.
Yeah. Yeah, but and then there was a little bit of Star Wars news from Good Morning America, and I originally.
Is that show still on?
It's still on, yeah. Believe it or not, they showed these lightsabers, and it's one of the this is a story that's a who gives a shit story when you really get down to it. But the only reason why it's exciting is because it signifies the beginning of that Kenobi era. You know what I'm saying? It's like the first maybe real product we've seen officially, anyways, with Kenobi on it. and you can tell by his collar that it's probably from the new TV show. But
oh yeah, he's
most
looking like
likely
stern Jesus. You know,
he is looking a little bit like Jesus, who's like, this Jesus doesn't forgive.
Hey, Texas, better watch the fuck out. Jesus come back, fuck you up. Knock that shit off, Texas. I like he's almost got a spit curl. I think is that just the way the shadow works, or does he have a little bit of a longer? Because he almost got the Superman spit curl going on there. Is that what I'm saying?
Might be.
You see, like to the left.
Yeah. It might be a little bit of the art framing, and it might be the way I, Oh no, that I did the feature image and I had to cut it out. So I didn't cut this one out. But yeah, and Mark Hamilton says, by the way, that it's harder to join on the YouTube app than it is on the desktop. I didn't even know you could do it on the YouTube app.
Congratulations, Google.
Yeah,
yeah. Who uses phones anymore, right?
right. Idiots. Yeah, and thanks to everyone who's become a channel member though in the last couple of days, or a Patreon supporter. Super appreciated. It really is. The Star Wars leaks cats are just starting to ban people who mentioned the truth, because that's how they roll over there. I think somebody should start a new Reddit. Somebody should make a better subreddit for that stuff. I mean, it just looks like
you mean a whole new site called Better Reddit? Like
no, I'm talking about
Reddit, but it's better.
Not a better Reddit. I mean, Reddit's Reddit, but a new subreddit, because that subreddit clearly it cares more about catering to this 1% of the gatekeeping crowd who don't care about the truth, And I even Jordan Mason was doing his little spiel yesterday and trying to, make people like him and trying to fit in, be one of the kids, And I was like, hey, maybe you didn't see my video. So I got on my music account and I said, here's the video. And then he called me, he freaked out. He called me a bitch and blocked me. I was like, kind of blocking's kind of the bitch move there, Jordan Mason. But you're the one who's trying really hard to really
bitch, and I'm gonna block you, but I'm totally looking for all the new spoilers. I mean, what are you gonna do, right?
I'm hearing everything that Daniel RPK tells me in chats. That's really what it comes down to. Those yeah, Daniel RPK, he gets stuff. But basically what he does is he goes around and he just asks everybody, what are you hearing? Are you hearing this idea I had? And then moves from there. But I'm not saying he hasn't had anything legit in his life and like that. I'm not saying that. He clearly has. But what a character. That's all I'm gonna say. What a character. But yeah, Kenobi is my homeboy too. I have to say, like, I was thinking about this yesterday. This is the nerdy place I was in. I was like, what's my favorite Star Wars character? What is it? I get asked that sometimes, and I used to just say R2D2, but that's kind of my out, because R2 is just like a pet. And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, I think
a whole movie at once.
Yeah, right. And I was like, I think Obi-Wan is probably my favorite character. He's the most interesting Star Wars character when you get down to it, but also the most heroic. And then my other one is probably Palpatine. And today's show kind of deals with that a bit. We talked about it like really briefly yesterday. Yeah. But basically Ian McDiarmid was doing some kind of interview, and he was just like, yeah, like I might be back in that Obi-Wan Kenobi show because Darth Vader's in it, and we're kind of a couple. Basically, was the he didn't say it that way, but that was
he didn't say that. Oh, that would have been the best.
No, that would have been the best. But that was basically what he said, and he did it in Palpatine. He did it in first person Palpatine. My ungrateful granddaughter vanquished me or something like that. But as I was looking at the quote and reading over and stuff like that, it would not surprise me if he's in it. Like, I think he should be in it. I think he is most likely in it. And I've like I said, I know Vader does report in to something, but I just don't know if it's like a commander or Tarkin or something, for all I know. So I don't know. So I'm not trying to push that idea. But But what you end up having is Ian McDiarmid saying, there's this new Obi-Wan show with Darth Vader, and I could be in that. But Ian may not to be the bearer of bad news, but he may not know that this is a quote limited series. He may think this is an ongoing Star Wars series, such as Cassian or The Mandalorian. And so if it was an ongoing Star Wars series that never ends, then yeah, you would definitely get Palpatine in this after so many episodes. But with there only being 6 episodes of a limited series, I don't think it's a sure thing. Does that seem like a pretty reasonable take on it to you, Rob?
That they're a couple? Yes.
Yeah, they kind of are a couple.
Because I've been thinking about like what does Anakin want, right? I mean, what does he want? If Boba Fett wanted respect, and the old adage in writing is if your character wants something, you have to be able to draw it, right? Like it makes
How do you draw respect?
So RESPECT. I don't fucking know, man. I know, right? That head tilt with the arms on the hips, right? Like Punky Brewster. That's what I hear or see in my head. So Anakin wanted to be a Jedi, right? So we could put lightsaber Jedi. We could draw it, and then he got that. Then he wants Padme, and then he gets that, and then he wants to live forever.
Yeah,
like that's why Revenge of the Sith is weird to me, man.
Yeah,
he got everything he ever wanted. Really,
Mm-hmm.
He just wanted to make sure he could never lose it. I guess it's hard. It's hard to draw never losing, wanting to lose things. You understand what I mean? It's a very, it's a very it's a concept-y thing. By
the same measure that the quest for immortality is a tale as old as time.
Yeah, but you need a physical item like a holy grail. If quest for immortality was just to think about it. Or maybe someone will teach you a meditation trick. Yeah, then it becomes some Uri. You mentioned the Uri Geller version of The Last Crusade, where it's just I'll teach you how to bend spoons and shit. And Indiana Jones, yeah. So I just think about I guess the one thing in Revenge of the Sith I know is Palpatine wants Anakin. So we can draw that on a piece of paper, and he gets Anakin.
Yeah, he does. He does get him, and they're in some kind of dom sub relationship where he gets on his knees and calls him master, and
he literally chains him to a table.
I think it's working for him. I think Palpatine
puts a gagger on him.
Who was the real winner of the Star Wars stories? It was clearly Palpatine.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So I want that to be true. I want Palpatine to be in this. I would love for that to be the case. At the same time, this is not Ian McDiarmid's first rodeo, is it? In fact, he's been on more of these rodeos than most. And I have a hard time imagining that quote he gave being a slip up by him at this point. And
the fact that he said it this early out, before there's even a trailer, makes me think he's just not in it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think he thinks it's an ongoing series, and he thinks that by saying that, he's like, hey, he's trying to nudge people. Maybe say you want me in it, and maybe they'll put me in it next season. But there's not going to be one.
Disney Plus can bring back the Sleepy Hollows. I was in the Sleepy Hollows. I can keep doing it.
Yeah, and James says Anakin is Faust. He makes a deal with the devil to get what he thinks he wants. Yeah, exactly. That's
but if she were really dying and he could actually save her, then that would be, you could put that down. But she's not dying of anything at this point. It's just, I had a vision she might die. It's not loosey goosey, man. It's not tangible enough.
He has the vision that she will die that Palpatine put there, and then Anakin just plays right into it. He's seeing himself weird. What he does, but that's kind of the. I am in no way going to pretend to be an expert on Faust. I remember reading it with a goth girl I had a crush on in high school, and that's about as far as I can remember.
I'm an expert on David Faustino. All right, and I can tell you, Grandmaster B clearly fucking knew what he wanted.
Yes, Bud Bundy, as they call him. Yeah.
He wanted Marcy, and he got her. Right? Like, remember season 4, 5, right?
Oh, did he? Man.
He made it. He thought he did. Like, Kelly made it seem like they both thought they had one another, but they didn't. But yeah,
somebody needs.
It's a really weird season.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Somebody needs to make Star Wars squirts. I'm telling you, it's the next. It's the next step up. I think I got Star Wars news. I think I have the subreddit Star Wars news. If anybody wants to start posting in it, I'm in no way. I'm down to suggest everyone go make a better one, but at the same time, I'm not willing to do it myself. I got too much to do already. Anakin Vader is at odds with the Inquisitor character that Rupert Grint is playing. Yeah, that it does sound like it's like that could really be the case. But I also feel like he is going to end up deferring to him when he knows that he can't beat Kenobi. But there's a little bit of conjecture there on my part. So I'm not sure if like he confronts Kenobi and then realizes he's outclassed, or if he just always knows that he's outclassed and immediately does report to Vader. It could really go that way, you know. But yeah, and remember, like, oh yeah, that was like the other thing too. Is like, remember Star Wars time? They originally had like that one scoop about the multiple Vader fights and stuff. That was a thing like a while ago, and that got kind of overlooked by everybody too, which I think is worth mentioning because it was correct. But we might try to post on Star Wars Reddit. They deleted it almost immediately because we referenced you. Yeah, it's like it's really weird to hear the truth and then just to keep doubling down on the lie, you know. But that's where we are at as a Star Wars fandom. But you know, I always say like it's always kind of been a bit of a lie or a mischaracterization to look at Star Wars fandom as some kind of whole unified thing, as if there is a Star Wars fandom. I do believe in community, and community definitely exists, but the idea that the Star Wars fandom is one community is like saying that the whole world is one nation, you know? It's just not the case. And so that's fine, you know. We will make our party outside of their gates, and they could gate themselves in to the boring Liars Club. That's the way I'm looking at it.
I think I'm not in their community, you know. Like,
no.
Whatever the fuck they are, I'm not a part of it.
Well, you know,
I'm a little bit of a Star Wars fan, you know.
Well, that's what was funny yesterday was like I saw like the same old crows out going, oh, he's gonna get his way back in here. It's like, no, I don't want back in there. I don't want anywhere near you, you fucking monsters. Like, just to be clear, what I want is the truth to be seen, because the allegations are so severe and a lot more serious than about your fucking preference and you know, if Barra Sophie's your favorite fucking character or not. You know what I mean? Like the allegations transcend fandom. They're very serious. And I am setting that straight, not because I want to hang out with your boring ass that I was placating in the first place, because I thought you were a fucking dork and I felt sorry for you. And I was like, yeah, sure. Come. That's cool. Fine. Whatever. And then you ended up being a little monster. So just to be clear about that, I would rather hang out with the fun, honest dorks than the gatekeeping fucking crows. You know, like that's where I'm at. But
I do love the movie The Crow, though. You know,
does it hold up? I haven't seen it since back when I had a crush on a goth girl and we read Faust.
You went to old school, Hot Topic, read Faust, got a Jones Cola, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a Jolt.
I know. They had Jones at.
What was Jones?
Hot Topic.
I don't remember.
It was a Southern California brand, so you could send them a photo and they would put the photo on the bottle. So it was like a clear glass bottle that had different photos called Jones Cola, and they had different flavors. But you could send them any photo artwork and they would put it on the bottle. That was the whole thing. So I was a Jones guy.
You were a Jones guy. You were jonesing. All right, so we have had a lot of Star Wars news in the last like week or so. Oops, I'm pulling up menus here. I don't want to pull up all
One
kinds
could
of
say we had
stuff.
a plethora, Hefe.
Did we? Oh yeah, did we ever talk about John Williams actually getting confirmed by the trades? Not really
Yep.
much to add by it, but yeah, John Williams was confirmed by the trades right after all that stuff broke. So yeah, so okay, I don't know if I'm going to go into the articles as much as just touch on them from the outside, because otherwise it'll be like a 4-hour long show. And so right here where we're going to kind of start is we have these 3 cats right here playing Darth Vader. You can go read the article with their names, but the guy up here in the front right here. Sorry guys. This dude right here, I think he's playing one of the kidnappers of Princess Leia as well. I think. I'm fairly sure, but I'm going to say I think. And so we have Hayden Christensen, who's playing Darth Vader when he's in the suit with the mask coming off, when he's in the tank, and in Anakin Skywalker flashbacks. So that's pretty big, right? I mean, that's something that we were all wondering about for quite a while. And then
people wondered that for years.
Yeah, how are they going to do it? And then the guy in the middle is the actual guy in the suit when it's just Darth Vader, like, giving directions and pointing at people and force choking fools and that kind of jazz. He's your executor bridge Darth Vader, on the Star Destroyer. And then the guy in the front here, who plays so many roles, it's hard to keep straight at this point. I mean, this guy in the front, you're definitely gonna. I feel like I should probably open up the article. He's going to be the guy who you're going to want to get autographs for eventually, and if you ever get a chance I always say, if you ever get a chance to have a beer with one of these people, he's going to be the guy with the stories. So Darth Vader 1, the guy in the suit, Dimitris Bistrevsky. And then our Darth Vader number 2 is Tom O'Connell. And he's like the guy who's doing like all the sword fighting and stuff. He's playing Mandalorians. He's playing, it goes on and on.
Is he related to Jerry O'Connell?
He's Jerry O'Connell's mom.
God damn.
This is his birth mother. Yeah.
Married Rebecca Romaine. That's a cool fucking brother.
And then we got Darth. I just remember that. Remember that show he used to have with Sala? Was it Sliders? Is that who that was?
Sliders.
Anyways. Yeah, Sliders, yeah. And then we got our Hayden Christensen. And Hayden, like I said, he's playing when the mask comes off, Anakin flashbacks. And James Earl Jones, not confirmed by me yet. James Earl Jones, it's close. I believe it is happening. My sources believe it's happening, but no one could tell me with certainty. So that's why I say...
I'm not really for it, actually, if you can believe it. His voice just isn't there anymore for me. Like,
you know what? I believed old James Earl Jones, where it's less than it ever was, is usually still better than an imitator, though. But do you think with Vader, do you think they would go with the deepfake technology for the voice stuff for Vader? In a weird way, I feel like it would make more sense than actually doing a real human who's alive, or like without a mask on, like Luke, and it works great there. But at the same time, that would kind of be a huge slight to James Earl Jones unless he helped them develop it, by recording the stuff.
I just want it to sound like Vader from that era. And I'm sorry, my only real complaint about Rogue One wasn't the Tarkin CGI. I thought that's as good as you can get with modeling. Like it's pretty fucking amazing. It's just Vader's voice. It's off. It's because he's fucking 90 something years old. Like, I'm not saying, I'm trying to write James Earl Jones. No offense. I mean, John Williams is great, but his scores, he's getting up in there. He's not, you know what I mean? It's not the same kind of John Williams now. So it's like, a theme, great. A whole movie, I don't know. You know what I mean? You got to pair John Williams up with someone, I think, these days, like for a whole thing. So if they do the AI thing, I'm fine with it. I just want it to sound like Darth Vader. I don't want it to sound like,
I think that's what they're kind of up against, like in all of this stuff, is like if they did make him sound like Darth Vader in A New Hope, then in people whatever it's like whatever the actual reference point is for Darth Vader is what he needs to sound like to people, or they will say it's off. And it's so in a weird way, like fans tend to remember things rather than acknowledging the inconsistencies that were always there. You know what I mean? Like in the performance and stuff like that. So it's a little weird. Yeah, I'm not sure what the right answer is. I think it comes down to preference, maybe. But I am like
I'm hoping their preference sides on the fact that it doesn't sound like a 90-year-old guy. Like my preference.
Sure, yeah. Yeah. I mean it definitely I think it's fine when you are doing sad Vader, brooding Vader, but when you're like, you know, in A New Hope when he's like yelling orders at people and stuff, that's you kind of want that bite, you know. It's a little bit of the Creedence Clearwater Revival voice version of Vader in that one at times. Anyways, Rick says James Earl Jones is the voice, everyone else is Chad Vader. So, but at the same time, with them using Darth Vader so much, we are kind of in a place where like
Alec, you know what? Don't even use Ewan McGregor. Just bring Alec Guinness back from the fucking dead too.
Hey, why not? I mean, we could do it.
Can we just reanimate David Prowse for all the Inquisitors? Like,
I wanted to hit this too, Kieran's comment, because I don't think this is in an article. Any news on Yoda showing up in Kenobi? Nothing new, but like the story is I saw Ewan McGregor in a car pulled up next to me when I was down there in the area, and saw him the next day or so. I think it was might have been the very next day. I'm there, and then I see him. I see that same car coming at me. I think it's going to be Ewan. It's a bald elderly man, and it looked just like Frank Oz. So my theory is that Frank Oz was taking Ewan McGregor's car for a spin, and on the last day of shooting, and that was dude. Yeah. If that's what happened,
if it's true, it's the greatest fucking scoop of all time, just because of how that happened.
yeah, it's definitely pretty hilarious if that's actually what happened. And then so
just cut to Kathleen Kennedy's office. She's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You could just use a Renault."
Yeah,
he'd have never noticed.
It's the will of the Force. If that's what happened, that's what I say. I mean, and also I
wanted to get a Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I need the car. I need the car, George. I need the car. You don't need me, but I need that car. It's a monster. It's a fucking
and then the next day we see Frank Oz dating her sister. But
Mary Elizabeth Olsen Winstead, right?
And then my sister Bespin Bulletin had this really good scoop that Rupert Friend, I think some people say Friend, I don't know, but it looks like Friend to me. But Rupert Friend is the Grand Inquisitor in Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. So yeah, and that dude looks like the Grand Inquisitor more than the original voice actor, and I think he's gonna do a fantastic job of bringing that design to life. So I'm pretty excited about it actually, and I mostly have heard positive things overall about it. So yeah, and then we had the poster come out, you know, and I dropped a couple of things in that article, but who cares? And then oh yeah, while we're here, the average length. Trust me, it's average, you guys. It's average, I promise. But we basically, yeah, it's like going to be like you're going to have like those like 45-minute episodes.
It's Faustian length, James. All right.
It's as long as you would want something from Faust. Fucking nerd.
It's Brothers Grimm fairy tale. Do you not understand the origins of the storytelling, you nitwit? Like, okay, thank you, Jazz. Jazz fucking nerd.
Okay, so here we go. And then this was this was the big one, that Bail Organa is back. And this is where broke that old man Smits has returned. And he's playing Bail Organa. I believe that Bria Organa is most likely not played by the original actress from Revenge of the Sith. When you look at the cast list, you could probably see one or two. There's like 2 people on there who are like really good candidates for it. And but I don't know which person it is.
I think it's James Earl Jones is playing her.
James Earl Jones is deep faking it.
He can do it all.
He wants to show that he actually has a 6-octave range voice and he can do it.
He's just going to show up as himself and play the role.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and then over here next to it is the Inquisitor's plot. So what it sounds like we have going on in this story is that Bail Organa is known to be a good man, and the Empire and the Inquisitors and the ISB and all those cats are not good. So what they decide to do is they figure that Bail, and knowing where his sympathies lie, or where they suspect they do, but they can't arrest him. They don't have enough on him. He's crafty enough to keep everything on the down low. So what they do is the Inquisitors hire some pirates or some scum to kidnap young Leia, 10-year-old Princess Leia. And then they simply wait to see who shows up to come and get her, thinking it's going to be either a rebel who they want to arrest, or potentially a Jedi, or even a big fish like Kenobi. So Obi-Wan Kenobi then has to go. So Obi-Wan Kenobi doesn't know this when it happens. I'm not want to get ahead of myself. Doesn't know this is happening. So the Inquisitors are on Tatooine, and I have some more stuff coming about that. So I'm going to leave a little bit of ambiguity here because there's a story coming pretty soon. I started writing it, and but basically by the end of this part of the story, we have Bail Organa in Kenobi's cave saying they've kidnapped Leia and we need you to go and get her. And Owen has already berated Obi-Wan recently about trying, because there's this moment where Obi-Wan tries to give Luke Skywalker a T-16 Starship toy or something equivalent.
You put razor blades in it. Owen can't trust them anymore.
Yeah, but Owen's Owen's motivations are like, you're trying to bring a toy to this kid when he needs protection, and you're making it worse. Like these bad guys, these Inquisitors who I've seen cut off somebody's hands. Owen sees.
I got it on the Galactic Starship, Owen.
Yeah, yeah.
For only $5.99.
Owen observes somebody cutting off, or the Inquisitor, Reva, the third sister, cutting off the hands of somebody on Tatooine, and he realizes the danger that his nephew is in. And then you have Kenobi trying to give a toy, and that's, if these things, I'm not sure if the chronological order is completely 100% here, but that's basically the gist of it. And so Kenobi is then, Bail Organa is like, you need to go get Leia. And he's like, you know what? The best thing for me to do is to go get Leia and get off this planet and get these Inquisitors off of Tatooine, where Luke Skywalker is. It makes complete sense, and it's, I think, very smart.
There's a version of this story, man, where Obi-Wan tried to give Luke his father's pod racer, and Luke just like flies and blows himself up and
dies. He's like, shit.
Your father wanted you to have this pod racer.
It was all just because Obi-Wan decided it would be nicer to be a hermit on Alderaan. I mean, up there in the Swiss Alps or wherever the fuck Alderaan is.
And he gets blown up.
Yeah. Then it gets blown up. The end. Palpatine gets to keep his robotic love slave, and everybody is happy, but the people who died. But anyway.
Now I will make some Snokes and have a Snokesome with Vader. A Snokesome.
But yeah. So but we have Obi-Wan, who's really afraid for Luke Skywalker's life. and we have these three Inquisitors: the Grand Inquisitor, the third sister Reva, and the fifth brother, and they are out there like attack dogs hunting Jedi, looking for Kenobi, and so he leaves, and then he goes to this new planet, and the planet's been described to me as space Reno. It's it's not exactly Canto Bight, it's more trash. It's like the one I'm making up this example, but if Obi-Wan or if Han Solo was going to go gambling, would he go to Canto Bight? Hell no. They would not let Obi-Wan Kenobi on. I mean, I keep saying Obi-Wan Kenobi. Han Solo on Canto Bight. He is not that class. It's much lower class. This place has spice dens, which are like opium dens, And so anyways, Kenobi so he ends up taking I guess registered transport by pretending to be somebody else disguised, gets on one of those ships and leaves Tatooine for that planet. And that's where he meets Kumail Nanjiani's character, who's a point of contact, who points him in the direction of where Leia is and where she's being held. And from what I understand, that fight is a bit like kind of like Taken. It's a bit like he does a little bit of the Solid Snake, sneaking around, pulling people, and he's not revealing.
In a cardboard crate.
Yeah, he's a little box. He gets inside of he pretends to be a gonk droid the whole time. He just puts a gonk droid. He's all gonk, 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 and he gets Leia, puts her in the box. Gonk, gonk.
Okay, yeah, all right. You know what? I'm gonna put Macquarie on this. Hold on, I got my Ouija board. We're gonna work on this. We have the technology to.
he holds the pencil in his hand, and Ralph McQuarrie like moves the what's it, a planchette. They like drop. Yeah.
He just draws dick butt, Macquarie. Macquarie's a dick, dude.
And Macquarie writes, "Leave me alone. Stop pilfering my trash and move on."
Ever since I put those teddy bears in that movie, he just won't let it go,
Yeah.
All right.
But
okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. So he ends up rescuing Leia. This part is conjecture on my part, but I think he may give Leia back to Kumail Nanjiani by the end of this part of the story, and she returns her to Bail Organa, therefore not really springing the trap. But then the Inquisitors know they need to get on that whoever it was who snuck in there and did that. And I'm going to guess that they have evidence that there was a handoff, and that's what is protecting.
That's when they kill Kitster.
Yeah,
Kitster takes the fall.
And I still keep hoping he's what's his name, Quinlan Voss, because he'd be a good Quinlan Voss. Gotta say, I think he could do it.
Oh yeah, Quinlan Voss. Forgot about that guy.
Yeah, and Quinlan Voss, when they put him in the Clone Wars, they turned him into the dude. They 100%. He is the dude. He is that guy. He's just like a hippie. He's just like, yeah, man, like that's your opinion. Like he even says that. It's ridiculous, but I could see that being kind of cool. But anyways, yeah. So we end up with up to this point right here.
Rug, dude.
Yeah.
You peed on your Targaryen rug.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then yesterday we had Luke Skywalker. We were talking about like Luke's role, and before that on Tatooine, before Uncle Owen gets all upset and stuff, you have Uncle Owen who's like seeing these people get their hands cut off, and then Luke is out of sight, out of mind. Luke doesn't know this is going on. Like Luke is just with this aunt in the market. Over here on the other side of this other side street, Owen seeing this terrible stuff going on, but Owen is protecting Luke. And Owen is keeping Luke out of harm's way.
out in the desert on Tatooine. You know,
You're yeah. I mean, I guess you could go to the mods, maybe get some robot hands. You know.
Oh no.
Mhm. Yeah.
Maybe that's how the mods got started. Just people were just cutting hands off all the time on Tatooine. They're like, shit.
How long do
Got a
you
hand
think?
deficit.
How long do you think until we have a comic book where like Luke Skywalker's on a mission and then the mods see he has a robot hand? They're like, oh, you're a mod too. We'll help you. And then Luke Skywalker and the mods team up. Probably like any day now, right? It's probably being drawn right now.
They'll call the series Luke Skywalker and the mods. Because they don't really come up with any entertaining names at Marvel, right? They just name the thing what it is. You know?
Yeah. The passion of Chewbacca. That's what I would call it. But yeah, so we end up with Kenobi now having, you know, left the world to alleviate the Inquisitor problem, to make Luke a bit safer. So if you were worried about that, this story makes sense. The story's smart. And then from there, we end up...
I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
I like the Boba Fett series. I can...
Well, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series really could have been dumb. But I feel like the ideas to make these things work and these concerns palatable, I think they were, masterfully done. I'm going to say, I mean, that is a great idea. Inquisitors show up. You got to leave the planet because that's safer for Luke. Therefore, he's not just abandoning his post. And he's not leaving when people, and I think if you really want to have a problem, you'd be like, well, so he just leaves him alone. Now, Uncle Owen, I think Uncle Owen can handle some shit. I mean, the actor is Joel Edgerton, he's pretty much an action hero. And so
me and my dad have been killing Tusken Raiders, and he's in a wheelchair for 20 years.
Well, and if you're a Lucas, original intent kind of person, there was a line from Biggs where he's like, oh, the sand people coming in here messing with, don't worry about it. Your uncle could hold off 20 sand people with one rifle or something like that. So they were kind of always going with that idea. But the final movie does not show that because he just is killed by stormtroopers. So you definitely don't want to take it too far. But you could also, when you look at how they're killed, they definitely weren't just shot with laser guns. That we've never seen anybody killed.
Missed
Uncle Owen. Yeah, how Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru are killed. We never seen anybody killed like that. Missed opportunity
for a short film of just that last standoff. You know what I mean? It wasn't just they came in and burned him. Like maybe they burned the bodies because Owen fucked them up so bad that when they finally did manage to kill them, they're like, we're gonna fucking burn these bodies too because these fuckers.
Fucking Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru like on fire, still fighting. Like, oh, you'll never get them. Faces falling off and shit.
Oh shit!
Yeah, that would be metal. Deborah Chow, don't fucking cower now.
I think I know what Taika. He's doing a whole movie on that. It's a 2-hour movie. Taika's gonna do it.
Yeah,
yeah. Owen and Beru.
Yeah. Owen and Beru on Disney Plus, and the trailer's just like fire zombies. Like, whoa!
Yeah. Hardcore metal, right? Kevin Smith, right?
I'm in. I'm on board for that. But yeah, and then so and then from there, Darth Vader is brought in, and it goes on, and that's as far as I am willing to review today because I haven't written anymore. But that is our review of, I think, the main points of where Kenobi has been so far, in terms of like the spoilers from my end and a little bit of from Bespin and stuff like that, and and then who was it? And then Latino Review LRM Online, I believe, recently said that that Vader and Luke fight twice. Vader and Obi-Wan fight twice. And I'm getting like allergies right now. I don't need this in my life. But we're gonna we're gonna have. I believe it's going to be, my estimation is that we're going to have, like I said, the little Maul versus Obi-Wan or versus Qui-Gon fight before we get to the main fight. And then we have some time in between.
You're referencing the Phantom Menace, so people.
The Phantom Menace, yes.
Go around saying
Thank
he said if he's going to Qui-Gon fighting Maul, this fucking guy doesn't. Yeah, I don't need that shit.
Yeah, I'm just trying not to sneeze my brains off right now. But anyways, yeah, so we'll I think we'll end up with the mini fight before the main fight. And Star Wars Time, I think, was who's first. So there was 2 fights, and then we had that backed up by LRM Online. So that's I if you ask me, I trust both of those sources. So I believe that those things are accurate to the best of their knowledge. And so that's good enough for me, unless if I hear something different or something new comes to light. And so you're going to have a lot of the Vader conflict, and then we have like a Qui-Gon thread, and I think Yoda will show up, and so I have a feeling and I also am pretty certain that Kenobi fakes his death by the end of this series, because Darth Vader thinks he's probably dead, and the Empire thinks he's probably dead and he's disappeared. And so I think there's going to be some, this is conjecture for the record. I think there's going to be some kind of like, oh, we definitely got him with that when we exploded that spaceship. And then they're going to be like, Vader's going to be like, nah, we didn't do it, but I can't prove it. And then this is going to be, you know what I mean? Then we're going to have him.
It's just a pile of ashes with a beard. It must be him. This is why Vader was like touching it with his foot this time. He's like, I don't see any ashes.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? Like it's a callback.
Maybe he's gonna use his lightsaber, cut a hole in the floor like fucking Bugs Bunny, and then drop through the hole and leave his robes there, and be like, what? And then he's gonna move it, and then there's a hole. Then he goes, puts his foot there, and it's like, oh, how do you do it this time? This guy
carves an Obi-Wan shaped hole into the side of a ship, and he just because he flew out the side, right?
Yeah. Like this,
like that. Looks just like the one on the box. Yeah.
I would definitely. I would. That's so dumb. I would actually be okay with it if they did something that ridiculous. I'd be like, you know what? I respect it. And then our young boomer bud says, be interested to know if Obi-Wan is aware of what Vader looks like. Be a big moment with Obi-Wan realizing what his best friend has become. Yeah, I am under the impression, because everybody, everybody's so excited about it. There's a lot of like, oh yeah, dude kind of stuff. And I'm like, just answer my question. But I have a feeling that his face is revealed during the fight, that, they get the costume gets, the armor gets really beat up. And so I think he is going to see him. Also worth pointing out that in Star Wars Rebels, they were willing to break the mask to let Ahsoka see him. And if there's anybody with maybe more power behind that than Ahsoka, it would be Obi-Wan. And so I would almost just say that's like almost a given that happens, that they utilize that, and that hasn't been utilized in live action yet. It happened in an animated show.
Obi-Wan sneaks up behind Vader, but Vader's trying to take a leak. It's just like a mod dick because he doesn't have one anymore. And he's like, what did you do? Oh my God.
What if he pokes his eye? Like, you never get to poke Darth Vader in the eye, but if the mask is broken, you can poke him right in the eye. He's like, I can't see. And he's like, use the Force, you idiot. I taught you how.
Oh, Maxie big the Force, Anakin.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then because when I saw some of the duel over the summer, and I couldn't tell, like I said, if it was Jeddah or if it was Mustafar. But after we saw the concept art, I believe that I was most likely seeing the wall, where they push each other and stuff. I believe that's probably Mustafar. So I'm kind of curious as to why they go all the way back to Mustafar. And I don't know if they're going to play with the concept of that going to places where Darth Vader's been keeps, where he has painful memories, keeps him off of it. But they end up building the castle there. And I don't know when he gets the castle. That's what I'm not sure about, how the timeline works of him getting the castle. So does he get the castle after this? Or does Obi-Wan go to the castle just to like go there and fight him at the castle? But thank you, Tiber, for becoming a channel member. That's great. Are you in Hungary? Is your name Hungarian? And am I saying it correctly? But thank you. I really appreciate it. But yeah, so yeah, why would they go to Mustafar? What brings Kenobi back to Mustafar
Legos.
is the question. Legos? You think Lego sets?
Yeah,
they've already built.
Yeah.
Tom DeLonge
build the castle.
I saw Tom DeLonge doing a UFO video, and he had the whole Lego Vader castle back there.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's actually a Lego castle. Like that's actually what's made out of.
Yeah.
Lego's a species in the Star Wars universe. You didn't know that?
Give it time.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
I
wanted to add Duplo, but we got a better deal with the Legos. So
if Lego's pissed that Leia couldn't be 2 years younger, so they could do that big brother likes Legos, little sister likes Duplo thing from the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
likes Roblox.
And oops, I didn't mean to put it back up. One thing that I was happy about, from what I can gather from the people who've read my report, is they're not getting the impression that like Leia is hateable because she has a better life than Luke. So, you know what I mean? Because I could definitely see that coming. I could see that perception, like, oh, Leia hasn't made in the shade, But I think because maybe too it won't come off that way because we know what Leia sacrifices throughout her life. You know what I mean? Like we know all the rest of that story, so we're not going to let like her first 10 years in a palace like define her. So, yeah, Hungary and Tibor. Okay, so the T, like Tebow. If you were part of the indoor Ewok village, you would be a Tebow, but it said you're a Tibor. Got it. Sorry. He's like, dude, I'm not an Ewok. I'm not an Ewok, man. All right. I'm like, oh, sorry. He's all unsubscribed.
Yeah. Macquarie would agree. He was like, fuck this shit. I'm out of here.
But Ahsoka was already able to sense that it was Anakin. Yeah. And I don't think it's going to be a surprise to him who that is, but I'm not sure. I don't know how that is going to unfold. And it's going to be one of the bigger questions of how are these interpersonal connections used throughout the episodes or whatever. And a part of me is really glad that this is only 6 episodes, because I don't think it's gonna overstay its welcome on this stuff. I think it's gonna be like, here is just the important parts. I don't expect it to be too boring. I think
we're extending Obi-Wan by 13 episodes. What?
Oh,
oh shit!
Oh, here's the episode where he helps the local watering hole get more water. Yeah.
There's a whole episode Leia in her room. And then we're gonna have Hasbro Pulse so you can get Leia's room.
Yeah,
and it's
Like I guess
that actually comes with the Rancor Keeper. That one, he fell far from that. He used to be on Alderaan, but he was off, and then he had hard times. Ended up on Tatooine.
Okay, so it is right after Revenge of the Sith. Okay, yeah, because I know he has it in the VR game, and my impression was that the VR game was pretty close to the Revenge of the Sith timeline, just like a little bit after. Young Boomer says, I'm pretty certain Vader's castle is built by this point. They dealt with that pretty early in the second Marvel Vader series, immediately post Revenge. Okay. So definitely Vader's castle is probably on the table. And I feel like they love that castle. So I'm
I
kind of
love the
expecting it.
castle.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Not a fan of the Marvel series, but I love that castle.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of weird. Whenever I have read the Marvel Vader series, I actually like it if I just take it by itself, but it's the totality of the character, like that much of the character is where I start to go, ooh, this starts to mess with my conceptions of him in ways that aren't necessarily positive. But I know
I
some
also think
people.
artistically, when I see a Darth Vader, I kind of want like a 1993's Mike Mignola to draw it. Not the modern Mignola, but like the first run of Hellboy, you know, Dracula. Uh, I don't, man, did you ever read Iron Wolf?
Mm-mm.
I never brought this up to you. So Mignola did this miniseries called Iron Wolf for DC, and it was like Star Wars but with steampunk shit, dude. Like, cause there's saber battles, like Corsair fights and shit, and like it's all these sky pirates. But he has that real graphic way of drawing. It's really fucking cool. It's probably the only thing I've ever seen in steampunk that looks cool. And I
Yeah.
always was like, if they ever did like a First Republic story, you know, like that would have been like the aesthetic. Like it looked really fucking awesome.
Hmm.
That
Does
would
he
be
does
cool.
does it ever have that moment in the Hellboy movie when he's in the shower crying?
Okay, the comic is not the movie. The movie is
I
fucking
know,
lame. I
but
know.
come on, I get
I
to
know. I hate the fucking movie. I hate both
it,
those films. I don't. Everyone's like, this is so good. And shut up. It's like the people who tell me
yeah,
Spider-Man 2 is the best Spider-Man movie. I'm like, oh, the one where he just forgot his powers.
yeah.
That's fucking genius. You know, real fucking smart. He just forgets his powers. Oh, I'm feeling bad with powers. Whatever.
So Neil, thank you for attempting to become a channel member. Yeah, just go right here onto the main page of the YouTube page, and there's the join right next to the subscribe button. And you might need to be on a desktop version to do it. I know it can be hard if you're not. So
Because YouTube's stupid.
yeah, it's like the story in the VR game of Vader searching for immortality is one that I really like. There's actually like some really good moments in that VR game, like where you're spying on Vader.
Yeah,
And
I thought it was fantastic. That Vader game to me was better than the sequel trilogy, and not because of member berries and shit like that, but it actually fucking added. First off, you get to go. I don't know, like going to Star Wars is a whole another experience. I get that there's Galaxy's Edge and shit, but it's still Disneyland. Like
mhm,
me in a Star Wars universe, just me. Like you know how when that fucking Star Destroyer like just docks with you and you look out the fucking
mhm.
porthole and you're like, "Oh shit, it's on." And when you see how big Vader is, you know, like compared to you, you're like, "Oh, this motherfucker really is
Yeah.
scary."
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you ever get an Oculus Quest 2 or any kind of VR headset, because you don't want the Facebook side of things, metaverse, whatever the hell it's called now, um, definitely pick that game up. You will not be disappointed if you play through all three of them. It's just a really good, solid
The
experience.
the best experience is if you can get the streaming link. Like you can get it so that it can stream from your PC to your Oculus, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So because the PC version of Immortal beyond graphically looks better, there's
Mhm.
this whole Jedi like training thing where you can, you know, you fight these training droids. It fucking sucks on the Quest, but the
Mhm.
PC version is great. Like
Mm.
it's a completely different experience. So
Yeah.
I highly recommend.
Yeah, and if you have an Oculus Quest, make sure you put side quests on it and turn the hertz up to 120 or whatever the max is on it now. And also the game runs great and it looks so much better, plays better. And because my kids I would let stream from a virtual PC, which actually worked really good, surprisingly.
Yeah,
But
works great.
but I would also we also own it on the actual headsets too. And but my little boy loves Darth Vader. Like everything about him is just Darth Vader based. So it's like I kind of get like the comic existing. Like he's whenever we read comics together, that's one of the things that we do look at, and
If
he's
they
just
were
like all
like
about it.
limited series, like, oh, we did like 3 issues a year or 4 issues, we had a different thing, it'd be one thing. But a fucking monthly series for Darth Vader,
Yeah.
Like if it's so weird to me, like so weird. It should just be him it should just be people running every issue and Vader like hunting them down like Jason.
Yeah. Yeah. The part of the show, I don't remember of the story, I don't know if I talked about it, but you're spying on Vader and he is like looking at this thing that may be which is actually is a tangible item in that story, where it's like it's like the life force of Mustafar that, and you get into the lore about how it used to be sort of an oasis sort of planet that was turned into this hellish landscape that Star Wars Santa had to stream from for a whole entire week if you watched the show like last week.
Mustafar used to have water.
Yeah, exactly the same fucking concept. And but he's looking at this in the context of Padme, and that he is exploring. He's not just like, oh, I'm gonna do it, nobody knows. Like he's got his butt out there. He's like, that was Natalie Portman, man. This is like the hottest chick in the galaxy.
I've got to save Padme.
Oh.
Pancakes. Oh, Padme. I like how he comes from a desert planet and then he moves to an even hotter planet, if it's even possible.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? You just go back to your roots. Like you hate your hometown, but then you end up making an even worse version of your childhood as you get older.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lessons to be learned by Vader.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I just remembered there was this point in one of the original script for Empire Strikes Back where like Vader is sitting on his throne and he has these like big dogs. They're like almost like massives, like next to him and stuff like that. I kind of hope they did. Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
I remember now, actually. I talked about Vader's throne, and then we saw it in the concept art. So I think we do get the castle for sure. I think the castle is more than conjecture, maybe. I need to.
What Vader needs is giant spiders, like a giant mechanical spider to protect his castle. I think it's important.
Darth Maul's old lower half. with Maul's brain inside. So
he's like, it's either this or you become a Bomar monk, Maul. Like, all right, take it.
Yeah. But yeah. So Kenobi series, once again, I'm very, very happy with what I'm hearing and what we've heard. And gotta say, this doesn't mean anything. It's completely just me, but I usually have like a feeling about things when I'm hearing it based off of how people are telling me, how they're expressing what I'm getting, and the like enthusiasm that I sense and the content of that enthusiasm has me thinking that this is going to probably be one of the better things that Disney has put out for Star Wars. And so yeah, if it sucks, I'm going to be like, what? I will be so surprised. I'm not promising it's going to be good for the record. I'm saying that but my feeling is this feels like the better stuff that we've got. And yeah.
When's the last time you felt like this about something that you heard like in advance of,
Well, when I go and I say it, some people are going to groan, but it's probably like Last Jedi, but also Force Awakens and Last Jedi, and then Rogue One was so back and forth that I didn't really get that for Rogue One.
Yeah, that's tough. The making of that's tough to track.
It is.
I wouldn't be surprised if you thought it was a giant clusterfuck because that seems like what it was.
Yeah. Well, and at the time, I was more like trying to be in the director's corner because I was like, they're like taking the movie from Gareth Edwards, so that was like more of my perspective, at that time.
Sure.
But I was like, I would rather just, if I have to assume somebody's being fucked over, it's probably the director whose vision was probably good. But since the movie ended up being good and he doesn't seem to have any hard feelings, and 5 years later he's doing StarWars.com interviews about it, I have a feeling that whatever happened, it was like he knew he was part of a project and he didn't see it as his movie, his property kind of thing. But then Solo,
baby.
With Solo, there was just a lot of ambivalence. For both sides of that production was ambivalence. And then Mandalorian, heard good things, but it wasn't necessarily like super excited. It was just like, oh, this is fun Star Wars. This is like what it's supposed to be, kind of, And yeah, but on Kenobi, I'm just not hearing. Yeah, I'm just not hearing bad things. I'm just hearing good things. And Boba, I was like, oh, these fucking monsters are telling lies about me. I don't need this shit. I'm not gonna fucking. I'm not gonna.
What I find interesting about the Boba spoilers that you did get? You reported pretty much like the big thing you reported on was the N1 Starfighter, and what I'm interested about that was like. That just happened to be from what everyone thinks is the best episode. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like that's the one that kind of like, that's the episode that made it to the top of the like leakage list in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
I reported on the Slave One, which at that time hadn't yet shown up in The Mandalorian, and Slave One, the N1, Slave One, N1, and the scooters. The Power Ranger scooters, the Vespas. I was like, yeah.
You thought they might have been made by Naboo parts at the time or something, right? Like,
yeah. At that time, I mean, I was clearly speculating, and I was like, we have the N1 back, and we have these things that look like the N1. Maybe we go to Naboo. Maybe there's something to this. You know what I mean? So. Yeah. But we, we're gonna. But what we ended up with is, I feel like Boba Fett feels the most like the Marvel Comics, like peak level Marvel Comics content. It feels like it was an adaptation of a good Marvel Comics story.
High Republic. It's what I'm afraid the High Republic will look like on screen, just like this, like real audience split shit. You know what I mean? Like real divided. For no reason kind of thing,
If we do end up with High Republic, Ghostbusters Afterlife, High Republic political intrigue show, High Republic video game, I have a feeling that you're just going to have like 3 different narratives trying to ultimately define what this stuff all becomes. And so I kind of think it might be a little bit messy. In that way, you know what I mean? Because there is no guiding, like this is Star Wars. I guess there is Star Wars, and then they're branching from there on those things, but they're all going such different directions.
Well, even the High Republic comics look really weird in terms of like when you put them next to one another. There's so many, like sometimes it looks like a Greek temple. The other time it's just them looking at some shit burning. I don't know if it's the end of something or the beginning of something. It has a odd. I saw this one today where there's like 15 of them holding their lightsabers up, and they're all like past. They look like your lights back there. It's a pink and a blue and a yellow. And I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck this shit's supposed to mean. Like, I get they just wanted an era in which people could have high adventure, but it doesn't look like high adventure. It looks like a bunch of everyone wants. It looks like, Luke staring at the sun. Imagine if they redid that, but now he holds his lightsaber up to it. You're like, I don't know how this adds to anything. It feels like it's trying to play off something yet. Doesn't ring very genuine to me so far.
And that's why I'm not really critiquing it too hard on the visual stuff right now, because I don't feel like there's been a real big push on that. I don't think it's actually been defined yet. And I'm hoping that these new properties do define it. I think that there will be cohesion between that aspect of it, since the majority of the art of the main concept art is probably done by the same core team under Doug Chang and like the Ryan Church and all like those cats. And so I think so I think that there will be cohesion on that front. but we'll have to see like how it feels, because like, you know,
it's just the way comics are drawn, it's impossible to like it's really impossible. You don't get like months to develop a look for a book, you know.
Yeah.
Like these are things like, hey, it comes up, the script was written, and then you got to like look to maybe some references image, and if there is none, they're handing you like probably pictures of Athens. We think it's kind of like this, and then you're just drawing shit to get through the fucking story. It's unfair, really. You know, that I really think they should have put out a book with Doug Chain directed big pieces, right, of art, like defining what the High Republic is when they launched it. You know what I mean? Like, here's what we're thinking this is. Just even if it's just the art of the High Republic before there's ever a movie, but so that way we got a real good sense of where they're coming at, and they could define it, and then everyone else sort of pulls from there.
Maybe at this point they do have that, like, for themselves internally, you know, with all of the projects that have been proposed and probably have gone under. At one point, I know there was supposed to be a movie, and like, so they may have that now, and we may see that these next projects may be great because of that. Like, it could go that way, but I think we can agree the comics clearly haven't really benefited from it if it does. And the comics, like the stuff that we've seen from like the video game, I know some of that stuff was assets that were reused from Quantum, what is it, Quantum Dream, Quantic Dream, and yeah. So anyways, on whole, we'll have to see how it goes. I am hoping for the best though. And I saw Mark Hamilton. Oh, one thing about Mark Hamilton first. Mark Hamilton's like, hey, you need to add your videos to your stories that you do. And I was just like, number one, I've been meaning to do that, and I keep forgetting because I get busy. So thank you, Mark Hamilton, for looking out to me, and I did it. I went and added all of the videos. I appreciate that, dude. And then he says, I need to start cozying up to John Knoll to get Gonka Star Wars story made. At first, when I read that, I thought you said I need to start cosplaying as John Knoll, and I think you should. I think you should go get some 1990s dad jeans, some white Reeboks or something, and start cosplaying as John Knoll every day.
I want him to specifically cosplay that scene where John Knoll's looking at Lucas just on that board, showing and this is a visual shot, and this is a visual shot, and John Knoll's over there going, he's almost biting his nails like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yeah.
They're looking at one another like, how many fucking shots are this? Is just one fucking sequence, and that's fake, and this isn't real, and we're barely gonna do that. That's on you too.
Yeah. And SL says that the High Republic bill is disjointed. It does. I mean, I was listening to Star Wars Santa talk about, he would read like every phase of the books or whatever it's called, so like 3 books, and he's like, by the time I get to the 3rd one and I'm revisiting the same scenario from another perspective again, he's like, I'm just done. I'm out. I can't do it.
Oh, they're doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's so. It's like Tolkien. You'll go through the whole story again from another point of view. You fucking dicks! Don't do that.
If the base is Lord of the Rings or whatever, then yeah, you can do that. But if your base is a forgettable story, it's like nobody gives a shit. It's like it's right. Hard. You get invested in that kind of concept.
The very definition of filler, right?
Mm-hmm. And I'm like I would be. I mean, I'm not even against that conceptually. Like if they did a book about rebels, on the guys like on Endor, for instance, and we went parallel to Return of the Jedi and did like our parallel stories to Revenge of the Sith, like that sounds fun to me. I would like to read those stories about what other people were doing.
Because you watched it as
those events because I'm invested. Because I'm invested in the core of that story.
Right.
But when I'm not invested,
could you imagine seeing?
Yeah.
Could you imagine seeing Shadows of the Empire? Like there's a whole book series. It was like 2 or 3 books, and it's because it was a book. Yeah. And then now you got to get another fucking book, and it's like from Shizar's point of view, and then another fucking book. It's from Leia's point of view.
No, 100%. Like it's like, I know it's not a popular take, but deploy the likes. That's the unpopular take. Like the video, you bloody savages. I would appreciate that. No, but like Back to the Future Part 2 is my favorite Back to the Future movie. But it's only because I love Back to the Future Part 1 so much. I get to revisit it with flying cars in the future and alternate timelines where everything's crazy. So I love Back to the Future Part 2. But yeah, you have to have that base. And they never had that base novel that really rocked it so much that you were like, yeah, like let's go all around this, you know. But I am curious to see if there's anything about these games, about the game and the next two shows, where you end up being like, wow, I read those novels and I have a deeper, richer understanding of this series in it, and it's for the best. I am not too sure that will happen. I'm hesitant that will happen. Justin Westwood says, in my own opinion, Lucasfilm is still operating in 2015, where they had the ability to be super secretive and assume the fan base will follow. I have no idea why I should care about High Republic. They just said, read this. Yeah, they did. I mean, and I don't mean throw any shades to the authors, but they did like a symposium with all of the writers who couldn't say anything and were all kind of just, patting each other on the back. It did not sell the book to me whatsoever. It made me go like, like, okay. And that's why I keep saying it feels like it looks and sounds and feels like somebody else's tabletop RPG experience, and you don't get to play, you get to read about what they played. That's literally
it's like when you want a Marvel and DC role-playing game and they give you champions. You're like, fucking champions, man. This fucking shit
champions
sucks.
I don't know anything about it, but it makes me laugh that it's called Champion.
Yeah, it wasn't good. Yeah, not good. I traded my Champions books for this guy's entire set of Metallica CDs. Boy, did I get the better of the fucking deal.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, I like the first Metallica record the most. When they just sound like really thrashy. Whiplash.
Anything's better than Champions. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. No, I'm saying if you got Whiplash, you got Metallica's song Whiplash.
I got all of them.
Then that's great. That was a good trade.
I got them all.
Yeah.
All of them up to black. It was like 1992 or 3.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
SL says exactly. It doesn't matter what point of view is going to be if the original point of view makes no sense thematically. Yeah, or you're not invested. And I mean, I
well,
do.
It feels to me like, certain shows, on the internet, we all know them. Mm-hmm. The talking points at the time was like, Lucasfilm really should be sitting down, figuring out the whole universe before they do the movie, come up with the whole thing. And then it's like, I feel like they listened to that, but they took away from that. Not let's figure out a whole story before we make a trilogy. Let's make a whole new era, where anything can happen. This is a problem when you meet people who pitch a comic book, right?
Right.
And they don't know what, like, if an artist has to pitch a comic book and they're like, I just want to be able to like do something where I can draw anything can happen. It could be cool. And it's like that. Don't do that. That is not you can't open world sandbox your fucking story. You have to really come down with something to say and then build around what you're trying to say. And it just felt like they're like, we could theme park dev a whole era of Star Wars where, we'll give ourselves adventures. And they don't have anything. They don't have anything to say. No one.
I like the idea, dude. What I don't like is their timeline. Here's these books, and then two years later, you'll get a video game, and 2 years later, you'll get this series, and then a year after that, you'll get this other. It's like, I think
because you'd have to start with the story and build a universe around that story, and then here's all the universe that we can do more stories in. You understand what I'm saying? They didn't do any of it. They were just like, we're gonna plunk. It's almost like they took a flag and we're gonna stick it in the ground in this era of Star Wars.
Wait,
and it's gonna look like this.
Star Wars Santa just texted me. Oh wow, he just said, if you ever put words in my mouth again, I will slit your effing throat. Santa. No, that's not what he's
with a sharp candy cane. You think he takes a candy cane that's all dull and he licks it and it turns into a blade?
I've been licking my shiv for you, boy.
Do you want peppermint or that green fruity cane? You're like, oh shit.
Oh no.
Oh no! Oh no!
He's like, yeah. He's like, you ever hear about those like icicles that fall down and kill people? He's kicking them off the roof onto their heads. He says, Star Wars says,
how has there not been a fucking movie? They had to do that in the 80s. There has to be a Christmas horror film, like a Santa where the icicles and Santa's up on there stomping the roof and killing people with the
I think they
sickles,
should get. I think they should get Macaulay Culkin as an adult, and his family goes home. He doesn't go with them, his wife and kids, or his husband and kids, whatever. And he stays there. And then the robbers come back for him. But this time it's violent. Like this time he is doing that. This time there's guns involved, and it's like Taken. It's
like Taken. Home Alone turns into Taken.
Taken. Yeah, they should do that. I would watch that. Yeah. But so Santa clarifies and says, overall, I'm enjoying the High Republic. It feels like there are more consequences, and I like what they're doing with the universe. So, okay, cool.
Yeah, but Santa likes Lord of the Rings, so it's
Does he?
Fucking every time we talk to him, he's like, "It's just like when Frodo gets the mithril armor and the blah 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 blah." I'm just like, bro,
when he says that, my eyes glaze over and I don't hear what he says. Yeah. I'm sorry, Santa.
And then I'm like, this is not like Lord of the Rings. And then we're watching Book of Boba Fett, and there's a whole kitchen sequence, and I'm like, motherfucker, it is like Lord of the Rings. It's 15 minutes in the kitchen. Can't believe.
Oh man, I feel bad. I felt bad for Santa when he was like, oh, like the end of Book of Boba might be like the Battle of 5 Armies in Lord of the Rings, and I'm like, whoa, let me get to it, and it's like, no, it was like the Battle of 5 kids and 5 people from down the street. But yeah. It was
yeah. It wasn't even like Sandlot kids, you know what I mean? It was like it's like the Get Along Gang kids.
Yeah, I liked Get Along Gang though as a kid. Also like Shirt Tails. Remember that? Remember Shirt Tails? Anyways, Mark Hamilton says you don't want to know the atrocities he carries out against the elves behind closed doors. His online persona is a total facade, and you're part of the pro Santa industrial complex that props him up. Reddit. Yeah. Reddit's gonna take a perspective on that.
Revenge guys, Santa, revenge guys. He's at bay. He's ready and willing to do the.
Where is Revenge Guy today? I got
getting revenge. He's out getting revenge.
Getting revenge. Yeah.
God, that's such a great. The possibilities of that name as a character that you just hire for revenge is. I mean, that's it. That's the comic. It's Revenge Guy.
I'm just Revenge Guy. Yeah. What you got here is a classic case of revengeance. And you hire me.
Are you talking about when what's his face? The dude is it Ratzenberger, John Ratzenberger, when he was in House 2? Yeah, what you have here is a portal into another dimension. Yeah.
Why did they make
best side character ever?
Why did they do that? Why did they do a House?
Oh no. Because it was a different movie. But he could only get the funding for a sequel to House. So he said, okay. And then he made his movie. Yeah, that's why when you watch it, like, what does this have to do with the House? Nothing. That's why it's fucking good. Yeah.
Junkbox says, my main problem is the High Republic isn't far removed from the beginning of the Phantom Menace. Yeah, that's one of the things about it that I haven't really understood entirely. Like, I know early on when I heard about it, they were saying 400 years and it was like 200 years. And then now people are going, this is 50 years before. And I'm like, what? You know, so I do have to admit, I'm a little bit ignorant on that. I'm not sure exactly when all of the stories are taking place. I haven't looked at a timeline recently, so I would need to. But anyways, Star Wars Santa says the Bendu is remarkably similar to Tom Bombadil. Changed my mind.
Yeah, they cut him out the fucking film. Yeah. Bombadil. I think it's Bombad. It's Bombad.
Yeah. It's Tom Bombad. Yeah. It's a Gungan. He's a Gungan named Tom Bombad.
That's his middle name is Maxie.
It's Tom Maxie Bombad DeForce. Yeah. Bill. Okay, cool. I'll watch it.
As in they deleted him from the fucking final film, so you don't have to
did they?
Sit through that shit.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for that new Lord of the Rings thing, And I was like, oh, I thought the other movies looked pretty fake too. So I really didn't give a shit. It looked like it might be just as cool, maybe even better than the movies to me. But what do I know? The High Republic ends around 50 years before Phantom Menace. Yeah. The thing about that, from my perspective or my side of things, is people bring that bit of knowledge of the 50 years, it ends 50 years before, and they think everything is at that point. And I don't think it is, but I don't know when it is. So that's why I'm saying I'm ignorant of that stuff. Just an ignorant ass guy, But he's like, SL's like, look, I love Lord of the Rings, I love Star Wars, but the twain shall never meet. Okay, that's fair.
They do in Clerks too, don't they?
Star Wars says there are 3 story arcs in High Republic, spans from 300 BBY to 50 BBY. Okay, so there we go. Thank you.
I love BBY videos. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Me too.
Yeah. Fucking hot.
No. Some of the best stuff out there is BBY. Or what else we got? We got Mr. Hamilton says, what or who exactly were the Hutt twins scared of to make them leave Tatooine? Built a big bad behind the pikes and revealed nothing. The coming war was a street skirmish with a wagon of bumpkins. So what my takeaway is exactly Fennec hasn't figured out. The Hutts are just going to let everybody fight it out and weaken each other, and then they're going to hope that they basically destroy each other and then just come and take it with little or no resistance. Is the Hutt's plan. See, problem with that is that the problem with it is that they don't do it. They don't ever call back to the Hutts going, shit, it didn't work. They don't ever do a call back to the Hutts going, oh, we're coming to get you next season. They just didn't do anything. They just never went back to him. They just forgot about him.
It would have been cool if the Hutts were like, Yojimbo, where he's playing both sides, where the Hutts were like, here, Bubba, here's some armor, here's some fucking mods, and here's some extra bounty hunters, and then they're like, hey, Pikes, here's some battle droids, here's some
yeah,
like that would have been, and then it could be sitting outside the planet just like laughing, and shit gets blown up. Like that would have that would have been something to see,
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean that's definitely, in my opinion, sequel material if they want to continue the story. But they can also, who knows what they'll do, if they will. At this point, with the storytelling opportunities out there, I kind of don't want them to. I would rather see another show come in its place and have a chance to tell some good Star Wars.
I'm shocked they didn't just call it Tales of the Mandalorians,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, honestly.
Or even The Mandalorian with a subtitle. You know what I mean? And take it from there. But they did
Mandalorian with respect.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The Mandalorian and the quest for respect. Oh, so dumb.
Hey, I get no respect.
Hey, Rodney Dangerfield is the Mandalorian. I want Polly
activate the Dangerfield. Yeah. it's right into the Dangerfield.
We have a Jedi. Yeah, we have Obi-Wan Dangerfields. We're smarter than this. But okay, what the Crawling Chaos says, it was pure cringe. A bunch of fans of the upcoming show was doing a panel, and 2 of them were asking questions like, why is the rings made? I think I missed part of the other part. Okay, I missed the first part. Did anyone watch the Lord of the Rings Superfans video before Amazon took it down? They asked why the rings were being made. Oh yeah, those are Superfans right there. I think I might know the answer, and I'm not a fan.
Jesus fucking Christ. Seriously, dude? Like the official video?
Oh man. Rich Schroeder says, just joined, but I'm thinking how Mando stole the Boba show. I'm thinking Vader will steal the Obi show. Yeah, I I think in some ways that's probably true, because if I have a point of concern for the Kenobi series itself, it's that Obi-Wan Kenobi is a reserved British guy. I mean, I'm not saying British guys are boring inherently, but a reserved
that's my
one.
ex-wife.
Yeah, right. But I mean, it's like, you know, he's not James Bond. You know what I mean? He's not like he's not like an action guy necessarily. I mean, he's very much like, and when you see how he's handled in the Clone Wars at times, it could be a little bit cringy. You know, oh, that's what I say. And it's like supposed to be witty, but it's not. It's like it's George Lucas's idea of America. It's a dumb American's idea of what British wit is, and it doesn't connect.
Hey.
That happens a lot when writing Kenobi, and that's I don't think that's happening here, and I think Ewan McGregor being involved is a big plus on that. But that's my like fear for the show, is that he is a bit of a wet towel. You know what I mean? And so he has to, who he's paired with is ultimately really what matters, to make that not go that way. And so we'll have to like see, and I think to some extent there are just like my kid's a Vader gate. When he sees Vader, that's going to be like the highlight of the show for him. Vader is going to steal the show from Obi-Wan Kenobi for my son. I am pretty sure, you know. But some YouTubers talked about it and recorded it so they could show it off. The thing was just ammo for all the clickbait haters. Oh, sure, yeah. I mean. And they'll always find something, but that does sound pretty hilarious, though. But could Plagueis show up in Acolyte? I think it would be a shame if he didn't. And I think he, with that time frame, it does seem like he would be a prime candidate. At the same time, he was a prime candidate to be Snoke from the very start. And for there to have been more going on than the whole time.
Bro, it's called the First Order, not the New Order, the Next Order, you know, like the First Order. I assumed it had to be the remnants of the very first Imperial shit, dating all the way back to the First Republic. You know what I mean? Like these ghost zombie fucking like dudes who've been hiding out, and you know, like forever and shit. And they were unleashed somehow. Like maybe Kylo unleashed them on accident or some shit like that, like something, anything but what we got, like any fucking thing.
Yeah, no, in my head, I had all of these random ideas. I was like, maybe Palpatine did find who like the real head honcho was, and maybe like he kept the genie in a bottle somehow. Maybe he trapped him. And you know there was and there were fake spoilers.
What was in Vader's castle?
Yeah, there were fake spoilers that there was like a tomb, and that's where Plagueis was, and that he was revealed, and all this stuff was fake. But yeah, and that kind of stuff would have been very fascinating. It would have a little bit of an Inception quality to it, like, you know, more of a story within the story. But I would have been okay with that in the end.
Well, at least it would be a lore, you know what I mean? It would be something like.
But yeah, that's ultimately why I really am not excited for any more J.J. Abrams Star Wars. I think we're good with him. I think he gave it his
more Star Trek.
So. Yeah, he's going over to Star Trek now. Where they could have him for a while. I mean, you know, I guess if he ever decided I messed up with episode 9, I could do better, and was real hungry for it and made his best one yet, I would take it. But I don't.
You know what I would do? I would saddle him with Solo. You get to make that.
Yeah.
You know, you need to prove yourself a bit. Have a fun Solo romp. Stay the fuck away from lightsabers.
Yeah. I also what I actually imagine is going to happen is we haven't seen a thing from Willow, and Willow clearly is a different tone of fantasy than what we get with that stuff, and people are going to try to pit Willow against Lord of the Rings, and I think at Willow's expense, unfortunately. And I hope that Willow just happens to be so much fun that people get how different it is and that it doesn't matter. I think I saw yesterday. I think it was like around 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, the original Willow, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but this is not a 50%. This is clearly just people
it's a solid B. You know what I mean? It's a solid B. I don't mean a B movie, but I mean like a rating, you know?
Yeah. I would put it higher, but I would agree with that. Like if that was the rating, I'd be like, okay, fair enough. I like it more than most, you know? So I totally think but a 50% an F? No.
It's as good as Labyrinth.
Sure. Yeah. But Mark Hamilton says, I want to sell all my Lord of the Rings Lego sets. Oh, excuse me, on Amazon. Yeah, I already read that one. But I just kind of wish that people could have their apples and their oranges. You know what I mean? Like it in the past, like I remember in the 2000s, there were people who like Lord of the Rings. So then the prequels were terrible because Lord of the Rings was good. And it was just like, in my mind, I'm like, these things have nothing to do with one another.
Hey, now you know how I feel about Avatar when everyone shits on it. I'm like,
yeah,
it's not a competition for Star Wars.
No, it's not. No, it's totally not.
Other than Lucas,
although
can't direct a movie anywhere near as good as James Cameron.
I will say though, I think what is different about that now is that Disney has said we're not going to give you Star Wars during Avatar years, and we're not going to give you Avatar during Star Wars years. And so in a weird way, those two are sharing or are having to cave to one another. And there may be people eventually who are like, hey, I hated the Star Wars movie. Why didn't I just get another Avatar this year? Or vice versa. You know what I mean? And
he actually made them all at once, unlike them sequel films.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the sequel films. Everybody wanted them as soon as can be, and Disney was like, we're gonna do that, and they went with it. And at the end of the day, I think while Lucasfilm is responsible, we all kind of in a weird way are. I don't think the fans would have accepted longer wait. I think that they had to strike then. I think that they were put into a position where they had to go with it. And yeah. And but at the end of the day, I mean, ultimately, I like the first two, so I don't even disagree with it. I think that at the end of things is that when Carrie Fisher died, they needed to give it more time to do 9, and had they done that, I think it probably would have been okay. But they didn't want to delay 9, and they wanted that Christmas for 9, and not moving it is why they have a movie that is ultimately probably going to be forgettable. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I find new love for it. I hope I see it from a different perspective and it just clicks for me. But yeah, it's the one where I feel like it's the most forgettable Star Wars movie of the 9. What? Ever? Even more forgettable than the Han Solo movie? I don't know.
Han Solo movie, Lando at least bones a robot. So
okay, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. God,
the creature designs are great in Solo, by the way.
I like the cut scene from Solo where he's in the TIE fighter, and he gets like shot down. And he like ejects as his TIE fighter hits the Star Destroyer, and then he has to go through to a tribunal, and then he's like making jokes the whole time, and then they put him on the ground in the army to get him killed because he's being a smartass, and they even call him a smartass. And yeah, that cutscene is good. I wish that had been in the film. I usually don't feel that way about cutscenes. I'm usually like, cut more, keep cutting. That's usually my perspective.
There's a version of Solo somewhere, my friend, where it's just a remake of Stripes, where Chewbacca go to the Empire to get out of some fucking debts with Jabba. You know,
Alden in that cutscene sequence, Alden Ehrenreich's performance feels like something out of Stripes almost. It has very much has that kind of quality to it. If you because I haven't seen it, I definitely suggest checking it out. I would put it on the stream right now, but they probably would like strike the channel or do something weird about it, you know. But and for the record, I actually do like all of the Star Wars. I will take a Star Wars movie over any other movie. You know what I mean? You love some of your children more than the others, right? Kidding, but oh, okay.
Your kids look.
Yeah, no. Chris says. Chris Morasso says, "Did you guys hear about Gina Carano's family, Caesar Hotels, going into multi-billion-dollar deal with Disney's ESPN sports betting?" No, I didn't. But it's funny.
I don't really care.
Well, I think he's. I think,
right?
yeah. I think. I mean, I gotta say, Gina Carano's family, I don't know anything about them, and so I don't want to vilify them. But just because like Gina Carano has some bonehead views about certain things, doesn't mean her whole family should suffer for her maybe getting people killed during a pandemic. You know what I mean? Her family didn't necessarily do it, but for all I know, they're all the same. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I think it is interesting though, in the sense that could it be a backdoor? I think Chris is maybe alluding to, could this be a backdoor for her to get back in to the good graces of the Disney entertainment industry and put back into Star Wars eventually? And I still feel like if you give it enough time, anything is possible for people in Hollywood. But we also don't know how the post-pandemic worldview is going to look back on those who contributed to deaths. Are we just going to be like, you know what, we're so tired of it. People fucked up. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to think about it. We just want to get on and not be in pandemic territory anymore. I don't want to hear about her mistakes. I don't care. That perspective really could come about. Or you could have the other perspective of let's never forget what these people did at this moment in time, and she'll never get out from underneath that. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not going to pretend to, but ultimately that's gonna probably have more to do with Disney's decision to use her again or not. But we also don't know how things went behind the scenes. Gina Carano may not want to work with Lucasfilm ever again. She may feel slighted by them and not want to work with the people who are there. Mm-hmm.
If they let her back in, how are we going to be able to make a bank load on these Carano figures that we bought, Jason? We got 7 cases of these things in storage.
It's true.
And if they let her back in, it's imperative. Look, we have to make certain they don't let her back in because these toys ain't selling themselves, man. Remember when we did that? Yeah.
No, I just think it's weird that like people think Cara Dune is Gina Carano. It's like you know what I mean? A Cara Dune action figure. Yeah. It's not Gina Carano. It's like,
can we just deep fake her? So I mean, if we deep fake her, that's not really her then, right? Yeah.
Like they were saying, just cast Lucy Lawless. It'll be an upgrade. It'll be a better version of a better acted and performed.
Do they keep the same toy, but they change the head? Like, do you think? Like,
probably.
All right. Just drive Kevin Sorbo nuts that they put Lucy Lawless in a Star Wars fucking series. That'd be the best.
I wonder if Recalling Chaos says, I wonder if Ray Park will let back in after he got his lightsaber polished on Twitter. Yeah, I don't even understand or know like what is true about any of that. I really barely care. I care about it from the perspective of like, would Disney, keep him off? But it's like Disney has worked with all kinds of people who have done nudes and things like that and had, mistakes and slip ups of that nature, I think. From memory, maybe I'm wrong, but I think. And I don't know, does it matter if 5 people saw his wiener on Twitter or Instagram or whatever? I don't think so. Good evening, Meg. I was wondering about you. I said to myself, where is Star Wars Meg? Has she risen from her coffin today? There you are. At the end of the show. So Meg is the closer. Meg shows up at the end to say good night to everybody. But yeah, do we have anything else to talk about today before we wrap it up?
Time for the Earl Grey tea. All right. The classic, your classic British accent, right? Mm-hmm. Nailed it. I want to have a crumpet. What?
Yeah, people don't know that me and Rob, we're both grew up in the same town. We're both from Vulcanvania. Is that what it's called? Is it Vulcanvania?
It's called Vulcanvania. Original name of the film too.
Yeah, better name. I mean, I like it being called Nothing But Trouble because it's so awful. You know what I mean? It's funny almost that it's called that. But
we should do an edit, a book of Boba. We'll call it Nothing But Respect. Can we get that fucking poster made?
Yeah.
Right? Come on.
Fennec's like, just Just keep going. Just go faster. They're going to try to pull you over, but they can't catch you in that speeder. But yeah. Anyways,
John Candy is Black Chrysanthemum.
But yeah. Oh, does Meg's checkmark? Oh, okay. I can't see it in the interface here, but Meg apparently has a fancy checkmark. Oh, so now I get to be like that guy on Twitter. Oh, they got a blue check mark. You think that your opinion's more important than mine? The blue check marks are always saying this, and the blue check marks are always doing that.
Man, I am blue. Fuck your check mark.
This guy's blue.
I'm all blue.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Yeah. What do you think you're better than Rob now, Meg? Because you got a blue check mark. He is blue. So what?
She's like, yes.
No. And for
that deadpan Bill Murray, voice. Yes.
for the 10th time, yeah. Congratulations to Meg on the 100,000 subscribers.
Congrats.
And I will say, as down as I am on myself as a writer, whenever Meg can read my copy and it sounds good, then I feel pretty good about myself. So kind of nice when Meg reads the site and it sounds good. Then I'm like, okay. But yeah,
I listen to the show.
Obi-Wan needs to negotiate with T to get Leia back. You guys doing Celebration? I am not doing Celebration this
like
year.
Coke. We're doing Celebration, yo.
It's the new drug hitting the Star Wars Star Wars universe. Yeah, it's a drug
that's so Filoni.
It's a drug that makes you stay up all night sleeping on a concrete floor, hoping you get into a panel. That's how you feel after you do a full batch of Celebration. But yeah, no, I won't be doing Celebration until the pandemic is over, like really over. And because you just never know what it's going to be like by the time it happens. It's very soon, but I mean, we might be out of it. It might be great, and I hope so. And then I'll do the next one. But
okay, question.
Yeah,
before we go, right? Based off that, do you risk seeing Batman or do you hold out?
So I'm going to see Batman.
Oh,
but,
now
I'm going to see Batman.
That's right now. But if the reviews are negative, then you're not going to. Or are you still going to go?
No, I'm gonna pull the kids out of school on a school day early in the afternoon. I'm gonna let them do the first half, and we're gonna go when there's not gonna be anybody there. That's my plan. And I didn't own Batman 89 in 4K. All my other ones are 4K for some reason, but they never upgraded my Batman 89. And there was a deal on Vudu right now where if you buy Batman 89, you get $8 off of your ticket. And I was like, man, that pretty much makes Batman 89 in 4K for pretty much free.
I like the recolor or the color grading, by the way, on 4K.
It looks good to me.
Some people don't, but I really like that and the Batman Returns color grading.
Yeah, I think they both look very good. I don't have any complaints. I watched Batman 89 without 4K like last week, and I bought it like 2 days ago in 4K, and I went through and watched some of the moments that I liked. Like the Party Man moment, it's one of my favorite parts.
Sure.
But I like
the mystery.
Just ruining everything. And then he goes to hit that one painting, and he's like, "No, Bob, I like this one." Yeah, that's good stuff. But yeah, so I decided to do it because I was like, we got to go see Batman. By the time the next Batman movie comes out, my kid's going to be driving a car probably at this rate.
Dude, the guy's like, I need a break. I'm like, it's going to be another fucking 5 or 6 years.
Yeah,
you wait, you watch. For some reason, it's so important to make. They'll have 3 films in 15 years, and some asshole out there be like, "That's how you do the quality. It takes that long." It's like, no, it doesn't. Yeah. I wish they don't have drive-ins out here, Chris. That's clearly a fucking East or West Coast thing. You get in the middle of the fucking America. We got one. They're open for 6 months out of the year, and they play old ass fucking films, and it just sucks.
We have it. We have them out here. And that's what we usually have been doing. That's what we've been doing during the pandemic. That's how we would have our outings and stuff. I think I started that with was it Knives Out? Maybe was that the pandemic still? That might have been pandemic time. I can't remember if that was before now. But
Knives Out wasn't pandemic.
It was right before. It was right before the pandemic. Okay, yeah, I saw that one in a drive-in though. I saw it in a drive-in. But anyways, yeah. But my kids don't want to do the drive-in anymore. They want to go into the theater, and my kids are vaccinated, so it's not like they're not vaccinated. But yeah, I don't want to take them into the most packed theater of all time, but so that's where I'm at mentally. I'm thinking we're gonna go and we're gonna catch it.
I'm gonna go in Riddler cosplay. But really it's just to protect myself from everyone else. Like I'm gonna be in a giant duct tape fucking trash bag with goggles.
Yeah.
Put question marks all over it. They'll leave me alone.
Get the Mr. Freeze costume with like the fishbowl, over your head. You're like,
that was what Mysterio. Like I was like, if they brought Mysterio back for Spider-Man, I was gonna wear a big fishbowl. Fucking, yeah. I was like, I can do this. I like the fishbowl.
Yeah. We have a few out here that are all accessible, and
I'm from San Diego, Chris. I'm aware, but I'm now live in Boise, and you can't have an enclosed drive-through because everyone just dies of carbon monoxide poisoning. So yeah. I wish it would solve that problem somehow. Like if there was a way, but there just isn't.
Yeah. Yeah, it says comic book fans will go during the day. Yeah, I probably won't go like the very first day, and try to go during like when people should be at work or something like that after it's been out for a day or two. At least that's my plan. At the same time, I also the length of the movie, and I hear it's a slow movie. I'm not sure if my kids are even gonna like it, And
dude, there's no fucking way they like this. Like,
really? You think
it's
no?
3 fucking out? No, no. I think it's the closest they'll be able. It's not going to be the Joker, It's not going to be that, but it's going to be like right up there. Like okay. I imagine 7 with better action.
Yeah.
And no sharp dildos, but like,
yeah. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll go catch it with a friend and then see it, and if it's really good and I think they'll like it, then if I think it's for them, then I'll take it. Because my son's, he's a hard one to please. My daughter likes movies a lot, so she might, but I also could just see her falling asleep in a 3-hour movie because it's fucking 3 hours. So
I just feel a movie like this that's going to be this dark should be an HBO Max thing, and Batman films that get released theatrically shouldn't be any darker than Shang-Chi. I know people don't agree with me on that, but this way you could have Clay Faces and Mr. Freezes and fucking action and get one out every couple years. Like, they take so fucking long that by the time they get one out, they reboot it and you're like, gotta do all those villains we already did because that's the ones people know. You're like, fuck, man, like, same fucking villains.
Yeah, I'm a Batman 89 guy. And then Batman Returns is you don't go further than most of Batman Returns. Like that's where I'm generally happy with stuff. But on this one, I'm willing to give it a try, see how it goes, see what I think, and see if it's a fun version, and see what I think. But yeah, what is your
anything
plan?
He's saying, and I can't understand anything he's saying in these fucking clips, dude. Like every time I watch a new clip, I can't wait. And then he's talking, I'm like, I can't fucking hear anything. I keep cranking the volume up. Like I can't. I feel like they watched Dark Knight Rises and were like, let's make it so you can't hear anyone again.
Yeah.
Like it's so weird. And I have to turn this. I need subtitles on or closed captions or something. I don't have bad hearing. I don't know what it is about the mixes or if the mixes haven't. So no one's talking about it. Everyone just looks at it and goes, it's brilliant. I'm like, it looks pretty. I'm not denying. Greg Fraser's an amazing cinematographer. His work on The Mandalorian is some of my favorite ever. Rogue One, best looking Star Wars film next to Empire, dude. Like, he's a brilliant cinematographer. But dude, if I can't fucking hear him, I just don't know, man. Like, I can't sit in the theater for 3 hours wondering what Batman says. Did he say that?
Well, we'll have to. Yeah, we'll have to see if the sound mix is good in the theater. And are you going to see it in the theater? Are you going to see it?
If I go, I'm gonna wait on the reviews. I mean, we got that previews next week on the 1st. Everyone's gonna go out and see it early, so we'll get a good sense of what this is ahead of time. If it's like, this is fucking awesome, solid fucking B plus A minus, then I will duct tape up and go. But man, if it's at like the 70% rating, there's no fucking way I'm not gonna deal with it. So
well, the thing about it though is when I'm just throwing it out there, like I don't like the other Batman movies that we've had recently. I haven't liked that. They haven't been my thing. And I feel like when you have Marvel that is delivering such very much almost like good spirited stuff, I don't know. I don't know if this one is going to please critics who are expecting a certain type of superhero movie, but we'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, I feel like if Marvel was making the Batman films, they would be making the live action series in live action. They'd be adapting those stories into its own cohesive universe.
Mm-hmm.
And Warner Brothers keeps, I gotta tell you, man, I know we've had this conversation before about whether auteurs should be making big tentpole properties. I think auteurs should be making tentpole films for like characters we don't know that well, like the Joker. You know what I mean? Or something. But when it comes to Star Wars and Batman, I want like a group of people putting together the best fucking thing that can be made. And I don't know if one person can do it now. That there's so much content has been made. The easy pickings of one person are already kind of done. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
So like they're like, Batman's gonna be a detective in this film. Man, if it's as dumb as Batman Forever's detectiveness, like I love Batman Forever, but when he goes, it's Enigma, and you're just like, oh fuck it. And then Alfred gives him that, geez, you're a fucking genius. Look at you, genius guy, like, yeah, I don't know, man. So yeah, I'm not as hyped up on it. I want to be, but
yeah, for whatever reason, the '89 Batmobile will always be my favorite Batmobile. But when I see how weird the new one is or whatever, I kind of like it. I'm kind of like, oh, that's kind of neat. It makes me kind of want to watch it.
It's like Bob Lazar was Batman. He would have made that car.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I respect the car. I respect the cinematography. I just, every time, it's that clip where he talks to Gordon, right? And the actor Jeffrey Wright? So fucking good, right?
He's great.
But like the way they're emoting to one another, where they snarl and turn their heads, I'm just like, I don't get this. Like, they should just be talking. Like, why are they? It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. I tend to not trust clips very much as being indicative of a movie one way or the other. So I saw it. I was just like, I don't know. Yeah. I'm just like, okay. Like, yeah, it kind of had like but I didn't hear the snarling stuff yet. So did you hear?
Look at Wright when Wright gets in close to talk to Batman, he turns his face. Just watch this. Turns him into him and like kind of squints, like I'm trying to keep it quiet. But it's like you're right here. You don't have to like just turn your backs to them if you don't want them to see your lips. It's fucking I don't know.
But the light is so beautiful. Anyways, Chris says, did you all hear AMC put the new Batman under AMC Artisan Film, which falls under films that advance the art of making movies? Whoa.
Whatever, dude. I don't think the Joker advanced the art of making. People like had good cinematography, didn't like the movie. Like, I wanted to like the Joker, but I'm like, at the end of the day, it's just a Batman origin story. At the end, we see Joker get his parents fucking killed again and the pearls drop, and I'm like, this motherfucker's like, that's the thing with the Joker movie. I thought for certain they were going to do it to where he kills Bruce Wayne. You know what I mean? And there is no Batman in this universe because Joker killed Bruce Wayne. And then like I was like, well, that would be a fucking whole crazy universe that, what happens if there's never going to be a Batman there to save you, Sure. They don't go there. He just becomes Batman at the end. You're like, son of a bitch. Like, didn't he get the pearls? The fucking gun? I'm like, these motherfuckers. Oh, they got me.
I wanted when I saw it, I wanted it to be that Batman and Joker were brothers. I wanted him to be the illegitimate brother. Sure. That's what I wanted them to take it there. I like in the original Batman '89 when they kind of who made who when that little kind of question thing comes up right there. Like that's, I don't know, it's just fun. I think that the characters having some kind of connection in that way is interesting. And yeah, and it would be fun to play with Batman when he has to, if his brother is the Joker.
It's Faustian.
It's Faustian. There he is again. Why are we? Well, I'm gonna have to go read Faust so I know what I'm talking about on the YouTube.com machine.
Sure, Beowulf.
Yeah, right.
Sherlock Holmes. Fucking.
But
yeah, Dante's whatever. I don't
know. Dante's. This show's over. Thank you to everyone who became a channel member today or supports the show on the what is it called? Patreon machine? Patreon machine. Yeah. Thanks everyone for supporting the show. I do really, really appreciate it. Thanks everyone who reads the site and shares the articles and likes the video and comments in the, you got a comment, make one in here and we'll still read it. Okay. And I appreciate that. And, but we'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is the plan. Wait, no, tomorrow's gonna be a different time. We haven't decided yet. So I'll put it on Twitter. I'll give you guys a heads up about when we're going to go live tomorrow. And, but we will.
It's Johnny's second birthday tomorrow. We don't know if the show's going to start on time.
No, third birthday. It's his third birthday tomorrow. Today's the second birthday. Happy second birthday.
Turd day.
Yeah.
Officially, it's called the Turd Day.
Yeah.
It's a Hobbit thing.
And everybody be cool. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, Rob.
It's not about spaceships.
Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show.
It's not about spaceships.
We did it.